Let's talk for a moment about some of the legal issues surrounding this administration. A judge in Vermont ordering the release of a protester from Columbia University who was detained by immigration authorities over his involvement in the pro-Palestine demonstrations there. Moshan Modawi, a green card holder from the West Bank, arrested last month after the administration had claimed that he posed a threat to foreign policy, latest in a string of Trump actions that have been challenged in court. Now, the president spoke about all of this earlier at the White House.
We're having some judge problems that everybody's reading. We're having some judges that don't like, killers, murderers being thrown out of the country. So I don't know what their problem is, but we have a little difficulty.
Here now is the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, Tom Dupree. Welcome, Tom. Good to see you.
Thanks.
So, judge problems, I suppose that's one way of describing it, right? I mean, the politics aside of whether these arguments are helping or hurting the president politically, could probably argue that either way. What about how busy it's been? I mean, all these executive orders being challenged. Have you ever seen anything like this in the first 100 days?
I have not. Look, the president is keeping a lot of lawyers and a lot of judges busy, and it's no surprise. I mean, the president is moving aggressively on multiple fronts. In many respects, he's testing the boundaries, constitutional and otherwise, of what presidents can do. So it's no surprise that a lot of his actions are being challenged in court. We've certainly seen a flurry of lawsuits all across the country, and I expect that this is going to be the new normal for the next few years.
Now, on particularly this Kilmar Abrego Garcia case, I know we've talked about it left, right, and center, every development. The president did that interview last night with ABC. This whole idea is supposed to facilitate the guy's return because he wasn't supposed to be deported to El Salvador. Well, here's what the president said.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has ordered you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision.
Okay. How do you see it legally? The point Terry Moran is saying, well, you were told to facilitate. And but the president said, I'm not doing it.
Well, look, I think I would add this to the long list of things that Trump says and his lawyers are watching or cringing and holding their hands to their heads. I think what this ultimately is going to come down to is what precisely the Supreme Court meant when it said you need to facilitate his return. I think in the view of the administration, it basically means that they need to be ready to accept Mr. Garcia if and when he's presented for a return to the United States.
Right, like if he showed up at the border, we'd let him in.
You'll let him in.
Right.
But beyond that, no. I mean, as you heard from the president, doesn't even think he has an obligation to pick up the phone and place a call to the president of El Salvador to make it happen. So I think we're going to be in this strange stalemate, at least unless and until the Supreme Court or another court steps in again.
Well, how does that work? They already have weighed in, right, to some extent, or no? Like, where are we on that process? It goes back to the high court, or?
Well, for now, we're still in the district court, so we're still before the trial judge who had been
I'm trying to follow all these cases. I forget.
You need a scorecard.
Right. Okay. So we're still the district court.
Exactly. Okay. But it very well could work its way back up to the Supreme Court, particularly if the district court gives an order that she thinks is not being complied with. You could see this case once again elevating all the way up to the United States Supreme Court.
Okay, so you talked about it earlier, how aggressive the president's been. You think some of this is on purpose? Like he's looking at this and knows he's going to lose some of these cases, but wants to make a larger point? That's what some people have said, wants to challenge what he, laws that he essentially disagrees with and thinks should be changed?
I think that's right. And look, I mean, it is traditional for presidents, I mean, maybe not as aggressively as Trump, but for presidents to always push the boundaries in different respects. And if the courts push back and say no further, they respect that. So I think what we're seeing here is President Trump is pulling all the levers at his disposal, including levers that previous presidents have not yet pulled. In some cases, the courts are saying that's all right. In other cases, the courts are pushing back and saying that goes too far. And again, I think this is what we're going to see as the president continues to make very aggressive use of his constitutional authority over the next few years.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.